talk, so we'll just get started. This is going to be all about landing pages. So we're going to be going through how to create a landing page using Command. Does everyone know what the difference between a landing page and a website is?
Can I say no?
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
No.
Does anyone take a stab at it, of what the difference is? Oh, you're muted, Shelley.
There we are. I think a landing page is not your website. It's just one piece of information.
Exactly. So a landing page is different from a website because it's just a standalone page by itself. It's not connected to any other pages. It's not like a menu item on your website. It's just a page that you have a link to, and you're using that for, there's many different purposes you can use it for. But typically you're featuring one thing and it doesn't lead them anywhere else. So it's kind of the page that it's intended for people to land on. If you were doing, let's say, a Facebook ad or making a post on Facebook, you'd use that link and that's where they're going to land to find the information that you're advertising. So there's quite a few different uses for them. We're going to look at a few of those today. But yeah, has anyone used a landing page in Command before? No? So we're all new to them? Perfect. It's good for me to know. So I'm just going to share my screen there. So if you saw the post I made sort of advertising this class, I told you you're going to be able to build a page that looks like this. So this is a page that Jennifer Kite McDonald up in our Sydney office built to feature one of her listings. So what you're seeing here is you have her information at the top. She's actually done this it's custom. So she's put her virtual tour. So you can do this with like Matterport or however you have like your walkthrough. But that's optional. That's just something that you can add if you do have one of those created. And then as you go down, you'll see it has all the details about this listing. So we have a main photo, number of beds and baths, price, MLS numbers there, description. Then you have all of the photos that you can scroll through. Details and features, we have the map, and then there's a form for people to fill out their information. So this is something that if you were just looking to advertise this listing, again, maybe if you're running a Facebook ad for it, this would sort of be the destination where you're going to send people to get all their information that they're looking for. The main benefit of that, I would say, more for your sellers, is they're going to feel like you've spent the time and dedicated one whole page and built this to feature their property. They can't go and look at other properties from this page. Like I said, it's not a website, it's just a landing page. So for them, it feels a little more special. It's just built for them to feature their property, and they can share the link as well.
How do they see it?
How do they see this page?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Find the landing page.
Yeah. All right, so that's the first one we're going to go through, is how to build a page to feature your listing. So I'm going to go over to Command. Number one most important thing, and you'll hear me say in all of my trainings, is that you need to have your marketing profile completed. So that's in your settings in Command. And when you click on your name here at the top, you're going to go into settings. Wait for it to load. And then on the left, you're going to go to Connect Settings and then Marketing Profile. So if you're new to KW or you just haven't used Command all that much, you may not have filled this out yet. And that's something that you'll want to do, because a lot of the information that you see on that landing page, like having Jennifer's name at the top with her photo, the logo, all of that is pulling from this marketing profile. So if you don't have this filled out, it's not quite going to function the same, and it's not going to pull that information in. So some key pieces you'll want to make sure is that you have your photo, so your headshot is uploaded here. If you're on a team, or you're an individual agent that you've created your own logo for your business, you can upload that under team logo. Of course, all of your information and your contact information should be there, and making sure that the Market Center logo, so the KW Select logo, is uploaded here. Those are sort of the key pieces that are going to fill in on your landing page. Okay. Any questions about the marketing profile? All right. So to create a landing page in Command, we do this through the consumer section, which is the very bottom button on the left-hand side toolbar. Again, if you click that KW at the top, it does expand this menu until you get more familiar with it if you are new to Command. But we're going to click on consumer here at the bottom. Now, this is where you manage all of your consumer-facing things. So if you do have an agent built with Command, you manage that in here. You manage your KW app in here as well, but it's also where you'll create and manage your landing pages. So we're actually just going to click on Create New Page up here at the top right. And when this pops up, you have two options. You're either creating a page on your agent site or as a landing page. So in this case, we're going to choose as a landing page. Okay. We'll create page. Okay. Once this loads up, you're just going to see a blank screen. We haven't added anything to this yet. And on the right-hand side, you're going to see various widgets, as we call them, which are just pieces of content that you can drag and drop onto your page. So you don't need to know like coding or how to build a website. We're literally just dragging and dropping pieces onto this page. So there's quite a few different ones here. The very first one that you'll want to do, I think regardless of what type of page you're creating, is the branded header. So you'll see this one here. When I drag this over, that is what's going to fill in my photo, my name, and the logo at the top. Okay, so I think that's important regardless of what type of page, whether it's a listing or something else. But you'll definitely want to have your branded header there. Then we'll look at the other various widgets. So you have agent branding, which is just a block of your information from your marketing profile. You have a lead form, which is a contact form. The footer, which we will put at the bottom. We'll look at that. We have a listing, which is what we're actually going to add to this page. We have Market Snap. Market Snap and Local Expert pull from the neighborhoods. We all know they're very limited here. So use that with a grain of salt. If the neighborhood that you want to feature is one of the neighborhoods that exists, you can absolutely use those. But I don't do a whole lot of training on it because a lot of our neighborhoods just don't exist. You also have the option to add videos, a testimonial capture form, and a download my app. So it includes links to download your KW app. So for this page in particular, we're going to be using the listing widget. So I'm just going to click on this and drag it over. You'll get a generic Austin, Texas listing that shows up. We'll change that soon. But that's how you can see what the page is going to start to look like. Okay. Then we'll probably also want to add a lead form, which is the contact form, because you can send people to this page, but if they don't have a way to contact you, you're not really going to get any leads from it. So I'm going to drag over the lead form, which puts that right below. So it just has first name, last name, email, phone number, and then somewhere for them to leave a message for you. Okay. The other thing I recommend adding always is the legal footer, which just adds a footer to the page. It just looks nicer. So if I click and drag that down below the lead form, you'll see it's just filled in my logo, my contact information, and all of the compliance things that need to be on there. Any questions about adding widgets to the page?
I have a question. How did the one that you showed had the Matterport? How do you do that?
We're going to show that at the end.
Okay.
Is everything editable? Edible. You can't eat it, but you can edit it. For example, the footer, because it gives the Bedford address, can we put in sounds from Sydney? So can I edit that?
So that's part of your marketing profile. So where you add the Market Center logo, it also has the Market Center information. And so there you would put the Sydney address instead of the Bedford address, and then that will pull in as the office address in here.
Super. Thank you.
Okay. So now that we have all the pieces on our page, our next step is to configure it so it's actually showing the listing that we want to feature. So see at the bottom right, we have this button that says Configure Widgets. So I'm going to click on that, and you're going to see a list of all of the widgets that are on the page. Now, the branded header, the lead form, and the legal footer are all have green check marks because my marketing profile has completed those. Everything's filled in. If you hadn't completed your marketing profile, you're essentially going to have to go in and fill all of those things out to add the logo, add your photo, add your info. But as long as your profile is filled out, those will already be completed. So the only one that's not checked off is our listing because we need to add our listing. So once you click the listing, you're prompted to browse listings. And this here is going to pop up. So this is connected to the MLS system. So your listing has to be active on MLS in order to build the landing page with it. Okay. Does anyone have an active listing that they want me to use as an example? Shelley?
17 Abbey Grace Lane,
ABB.
IE.
So that came up right here, 17 Abbey Grace Lane. So I'm just going to click select. You always want to make sure if the property has been listed multiple times, like Shelley, if someone else listed this 3 years ago, it might show up there as well. So just make sure it has the right list date, the MLS number will show there, and your name will show up as the listing agent. Okay. So once you find the right one, you're going to click on select. Wait for it to load. Very slow today. Trying to close the drawer. We'll just wait for that to close.
Jessica?
Yeah.
You just create one of these almost as if you're doing like for each new listing that you have that for the client. Yeah,
Exactly.
just almost like doing your own design, but for a landing
Yeah.
page.
Yeah, so it just
You do
features
a new
that
one
one
each time.
listing.
Yep.
Yeah. You do have the ability to duplicate them, I believe. If you make one and then the listing sells and you're done with it, you could technically just come into that same page and change the listing that's attached to it. Just update that page. Oh, she's struggling. It's almost gone.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do we just manually have to go in and take these down once a property is sold?
Yeah, so the link will stay active until you deactivate it. It's literally just a
Okay.
button and command that you just click and it takes it down.
Okay.
So I'll show you how to do that as well. So as we wait for this to load, you'll see it's slow because it's populating the whole page.
And so if anything changes on the MLS listing because it's attached to this, will it automatically change in here as well?
It will.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you update the price, for example, the page will update based on what it's pulling from MLS.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there an option to attach a QR code to this, or is that something completely separate?
Like a QR code to get to this page, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like for me, I use a QR code generator. So anytime you see like the RSVP links where you just scan it with your phone, you'll get a link to this page and you would essentially just copy that link and make a QR code for it.
Okay.
So then you could put that on marketing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, I think this it's still very slow. So you'll see on the right here, we pulled that listing information. You can choose the header image. So all of the MLS photos are showing up here. So you can choose what photo you want to be that big one at the top. And then, why is this so slow? My computer gets really slow when I'm on Zoom. So I think that's the problem. So yeah, we'll just leave that photo as it is. And then you'll just click Save and Apply at the bottom, which is going to update it. And then you'll see the actual page itself is going to change to feature this listing. Okay. So now it has that photo as the main one. All of that info has populated in. We have the description. The rest of the photos are there for people to look through. Keep going. We have our lead form, the map, all that stuff has pulled in. Okay. So that's pretty much all I want to add to this landing page. It's pretty simple. Before I save it, I am going to change the name of it up here at the top left. It's just named New Landing Page Template. So I'm just going to change that to 17 Abby Grace so that when I have multiple landing pages, I know what this one is. Okay, so you can check. The nice thing that you can do just below where you edit that is you can also preview what the page is going to look like on different devices. So you can see right now we're on a computer, but if I want to see what it's going to look like on people's phones, I can click on that and the preview is going to show you how you would actually see it on your phone. Okay. So now that our page is built, we have two options. We can either save the landing page. So if we're not ready to put this out, we can just save it and use it later. Or we can publish it if we're ready to, we want the link and we want to start sharing it with people. Now, regardless of, so I'm going to publish this right now. I know Shelley's listing, it says my name at the top. No one is ever going to find it because it's going to be such an obscure link. No one will find it unless you actually send them the link to this page. It's not going to show up on Google. It's not going to show up anywhere unless you're sharing it with people. Okay, so there's no harm in clicking publish, even if you're not ready to start sharing it. Again, no one's going to find it. Okay, so I'm going to click on publish. We'll say, are you sure you want to update the page? Yes. And then it's going to bring me back to command in the consumer section. Now to see my landing page, I'm going to click on landing pages here at the top. And this is where you're going to see all of the different landing pages you've ever created. If you never use them, you'll just have the one. Melanie, right here, the status, if it's green, that means it's active. But if I didn't want this to be active, I can click that little button and it just turns it off. So then if, you know, someone clicks on a link that I posted on Facebook 2 months ago, it's not going to bring them to that page. They're not going to be able to see it. So that is an important one. Once your property sells, you'll probably want to come in and change the status of that page so that any previous posts or anything you put up before, that link's not still active. Okay. It will update the status on the page. Like I said, it's part of MLS. So if the status on MLS is sold, it's going to show that on the page as well. But you probably don't want to be circulating that anyways. Just going to switch that back to active. So this is the link that it's generated. So I could copy this and post it on Facebook, put it wherever, but you may want to customize it as well. So you can change what this link is, most of what this link is. So over on the right, you'll see we have these 3 dots. You have a few options. You have edit, which is going to bring you back in to edit that page. So maybe I want to change it to a different listing. Maybe I want to add a different widget to the page. You can always go back in and edit it. Then you have the option to change the URL. So see here, it's just a jumble of letters and numbers. I may want that to say 17 Abby Grace. Okay, you can't change the beginning of it. So it has pages.kw.com. It has your first and last name, and then it has your KW ID number. That's what you're seeing there. Everything after that can be edited, so you can make it whatever you want. So now that's my link. So if I click on this link, it's going to open a new page. Takes a second to populate. And then we have all that there. So that's really it for creating a page to feature your listing. It's pretty straightforward. Just dragging and dropping and making sure, again, that listing has to be active on MLS to do that. Okay. Now, if you wanted to customize that further, like adding a Matterport, you do have the option to do so. So I'm going to go back into that page and we're going to edit it. Now, this is does require a little bit of code, but you don't have to know how to code. You just need to know how to copy and paste it into the right spot. So for adding custom content, typically anything like a Matterport, like a Google form, Cloud CMA, which I'll show you as well, it's going to give you what's called an embed code. So this is different than just a link that you go to. It's a little piece of code that's going to put whatever you're seeing on this website onto your website. So that's how Jen would have put her virtual tour on there. With Matterport, and I can share this. Yes.
So MATTER, Matter.
Matterport. Yeah, this here.
Right.
So there's this piece of code here that Matterport provides, and it's called an iframe, which you're just framing in a piece of content from another page onto your page. So this here is what you're going to copy. Your Matterport link would actually go in here if you did have one. So you're just going to replace that bolded part with your actual Matterport link. Okay. If I copy this and go back to edit my page, this is where it's a little finicky. So we are going to click on content blocks right above that configure widgets. And I'm going to add a text box wherever you want to put that custom piece. Okay. It says insert your text here. I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to paste in, take out that bullet point there. So again, you're going to need to put your Matterport link to your tour right in there. Okay. Something you'll also want to do is center this so that it's actually centered on the page. So when you highlight that text over on the right-hand side, you're going to click on the little paintbrush, go to typography, and then align the text to center. Okay. Then when you publish the page and you go in, your Matterport is going to stick right there at the top. You can put it at the bottom too if you want. Now I don't have a Matterport to show you, so I can't demonstrate it, but I can demonstrate it with another platform that is very common to most of you. So if anyone uses Cloud CMA to generate leads, they do have what's called a landing page that they create for you, but you may want it to be more branded to you. So with NSAR, Michelle, I don't know if you have access to this in PEI, so this might not work for you. Right, let's go here. You would go into your Cloud CMA, which is right here. Now, this isn't something you would typically add to a listing landing page, but you can create a landing page just to add this. You don't have to add the listing widget. So once you're in Cloud CMA, you're going to click on the little icon at the top right, probably has your photo in it, and you're going to go to lead generation. This is going to bring you to your Cloud CMA landing page setup page.
Jessica, you're recording this, right?
I am, yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, so this is what your typical Cloud CMA page will look like. Just has your name and photo. There probably is ways to brand it, I don't know. But this is all it's going to bring them to. So you have this super long app.cloudcma link. So you can actually take this portion and add it to your own landing page, your own KW branded landing page. Okay, so to do that, back on this lead generation page, when you scroll down to the share section, you're going to see embed. So that's sort of the key term you're looking for. If there's ever something you want to add to your website or your landing pages, you're looking for them to provide you with an embed code. So if I want to embed this, I click on that and it gives me this little piece of code. So I'm going to copy that, go back to my page, and I'm going to change the text to that piece instead. Okay, so I've just copied that embed code that it gave me right here into this page. Now for this, I may not want the listing on here, so I can just delete that. And they're going to give me my info, their info anyways, so I don't need that either. So I just have the branded header here now. I have a piece of text, and then I have my legal footer. So right now it just looks like a jumble of letters and numbers again. There's that. I'm going to publish this page. And it's not until it's published that you're actually going to see what this looks like. So if I go back and get the link to that page. That one didn't work. There is a way to make it so it fills in the whole page. So now I've lied to you. I'm sorry. So I'll look into that and figure out what there might be something we need to change in that little code snippet, but typically it puts the entire Cloud CMA right onto the page. So I will look into it. Okay, we'll disregard that one. It did work before. But there's many other things you can embed onto your pages. So again, Matterport is one. Cloud CMA typically works. If you use Google Forms for anything, you can always embed Google Forms onto pages. So if you had an open house sign-in Google form, for example, no, not everyone uses Google Forms. We use them to collect RSVPs for the office. When you share a Google form, so when you click send, again, this is the little embed icon, and it'll give you this here. Edit this page and put in that one instead.
Jessica, can you put script over your main photo, like reduced or you know, some sort
Like
of
put text over it, you mean?
Yeah.
You can't in here, but so if we put that listing back in there, when you configure the listing, just use faster. When you're selecting the header photo, you have the option, instead of selecting an MLS photo, you can select a custom photo. So if you just take a photo and you have a way to write, whether you use Canva or Designs, you've written, just reduced over that photo, you can go here to custom image instead and just upload that as the main one. And so then that will show up right across the top. This part's very slow. But yeah, that's Cloud CMA did not work as I intended. But yeah, here, if you browse that, you'd add the photo, save it, and then it will show up right there at the top. Yeah, there. Do a text box and our legal footer. Our text there, and then we're going to center it. And then we will update it. So now it's put the Google form directly on this page. You can play around with, so you'll see in that piece of text, where is it here? So it's showing you have the width and the height. So if your form is really long, you may change the height to like 1,000 so that it makes it bigger. You can kind of play around with the text that you're putting in there so that this box would be much bigger. Any questions or anything anyone else wants me to show you for landing pages?
Jessica, you gave us a couple examples on what we could use landing pages for. Do you know of any other do you have any other ideas or any other uses for it?
The listing's a big one. That would be sort of the number one. But you can also use it for just collect. So partnered with Google Forms, for example, if you were running an event and you wanted to collect RSVPs, you can do it for really any type of lead generation. So anytime you want to capture leads, you can add just that contact form for people to fill out their information. That's mainly what it's going to be for, is capturing information or advertising one specific thing. When you're creating those landing pages or editing them, go back into this one, you also have the option to add under custom content blocks. There's also images. So if you made like a graphic on Canva for an event, you can upload an image here so that it puts that on the page. So you have a lot of customization there, really anything that you wanted to share. YouTube videos have embed links. So if you're on any video on YouTube and you go to share it, embedding is one of the options. And so you could put that in as the text if you wanted, maybe you have a professionally done video about your property. You could put that on there instead of a virtual tour. So there's a lot of options there. But really it's for lead capture or advertising a listing or an event or service of sorts.
So if we were to use this on Facebook, are we just, again, sorry, you probably said this already, but are we just copy and pasting the link to this and then posting it in Facebook?
Exactly. So you would take that link and then paste it on Facebook like you would your website or the realtor.ca link to that.
And so the difference between going through this way as opposed to, being in Paragon and sharing the Paragon listing through the Facebook tab is just basically a different look.
Yeah, and it's branded to you.
It's branded to me. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Okay.
like I said, to your sellers, it feels a little more, I don't want to say professional, but that's like, it looks like you've taken the time to sit down and
Yeah.
build out a site for them, for their page. Yeah. So from like that value add for the sellers, I would say that's the biggest part of it.
I kind of like that idea, like going this route and having the contact page attached, because going straight from Paragon, you're not capturing information, you're just doing an advertising. Whereas this, I don't know, not that a lot of people would fill it out, but at least the option's there.
It is, yeah. And I mean, you could go the route, if you did a Facebook ad, you could force the lead generation form first. So in order to see the landing page and what you're advertising, they have to fill in their info. And then you get that info in command.
You think people would do that?
They do. Yeah.
Hmm.
Listings are typically like the best one for leads. You'll get a lot of people who are they might put fake info in, or they're not actually interested. But you can set up systems to follow up with them, so you're not wasting a ton of your time following up with people that aren't actually interested. So yeah, we just have people, I think it was Travis, he did one for his listing and got like 80 something leads from one listing ad. So yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
In regards to having a team, where would the leads go to? Like, would they go to whoever agent you were doing it on?
Exactly. So the landing pages are like an individual thing. So the consumer tab isn't teamified. So
But I kind of
running a team. So Melissa, if like Simon wanted a landing page, we'd have to do it in his account, basically.
Yeah.
And then the leads would go to him.
Okay.
If you do it, like if you're in a team account, like I actually have a team account, it doesn't even let me switch into it when I'm in this consumer section. So it's
Because
only
it's
time
just for
personal.
like you. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. For teams, you can, so like, let's say you set this up in Angela's account, there is an option in the lead routing that you could set like all landing page leads go to the lead pool for the team. You can
Oh,
do that.
really?
Yeah, so you could do that. And you can change the header. So that branded header that I put at the top, when you're in the actual landing, actually I should have edited it. When you're in the actual landing page, like I said, it does pull everything from the marketing profile. So for you, it would by default pull Angela's photo and name, but you could go in when you configure, you can still configure that and change like the headshot. So put like the team logo there and put, Lehman Murray real estate right in the
Cool.
name. And so then it's not tied, like the appearance of it, it's not branded to a person. And then you can set the lead routing for all landing pages to go.
And would that just be in like the lead management thing?
Exactly.
Yesterday, okay, hopefully that would work.
Yeah, so that will the lead source in the routing, it's landing page, basically.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah. Mhm. Any other questions? Anything else anyone wants to see? Still have 20 minutes, so I can go over whatever you like.
I'm sure when we try it, we'll have a few more questions.
I was just gonna say that I'm actually gonna go and try it right away so that it's fresh in my head and see how far I can make it.
Perfect. There is one, I know Laura, you asked for other examples. One other thing you can do, which is nice, if you do use the KW agent sites, this will be helpful. So again, I'm going to add my branded header and legal footer, but you have this option for the testimonial capture form. So I could put that right in the middle. And so you could just have a set landing page that you share with your clients to leave a review for you.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Then you can, if you're using the agent site, you have the option to add like a testimonial display, and you can choose up to 10 testimonials to display, and it'll pull from anything that's been left in here. So when someone leaves one here, it doesn't just automatically show up, you choose to display it. So if someone leaves a bad review, you don't have to put it up on your site.
Can we
but you'll
transfer
have
it into Google?
You can, so if you want Google reviews, I always say to point them to Google, because to leave a Google review, you need a Google account. So you can't like leave them for yourself or fill them in on Google. But you can take, so this doesn't require any type of verification. If some like Joe Smith leaves you a Google review, you can come in and fill it out yourself with his review to display it on your site.
Right.
You can go the other way.
I'm always nervous about the Google reviews because I had one lady, she left me like a fantastic review, but she forgot to hit the stars. So it brought like my average down
Oh,
because
no.
she didn't hit any stars at all, but gave me verbally a really great review. And it's like, you can't recover from that. Like you can't go back and fix that. That's a challenge.
Yeah, Google's very strict on editing of any reviews. They won't take stuff down. It's, and it's fair. Like if people were leaving like warranted bad reviews on a company, you don't want them to have the ability to take them down, because that's defeats the purpose, right? So it sucks when people don't know how to use the system and do that, and it ruins your, But yeah, I would do it that way. Point them to Google if you do want Google reviews. And then here you can just copy and paste their exact info and put it in here to display it. Yeah, that would be the other good option for landing pages. So you could just have that link always ready. You put it in a smart plan, it sends to everyone after closing, things like that. Then you're saving all of those reviews in your site. Any other questions? That's all I've got. It's pretty a straightforward process. Obviously the Cloud CMA needs some tweaking, but there is a way. I'll figure it out and I will send everyone the video that was on this.
Thanks, Jess. That was really useful.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks, Jessica. I can't think of all the questions I would normally have right at the moment.
Yeah, so as you're going through it, if you have any questions, just send me an email. I will have the recording downloaded and posted. We'll put it right on our YouTube channel, so you can always go back and watch it as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Cool. No problem. No other questions? Nothing? All right. Well, have a great day, everyone. Like I said, I'll get that posted on YouTube, and then if you have any questions, just reach out.
Great.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.